Okay, now let's look at notation here. So in this case here, we've got some things that we want to go over, make sure that we understand notation when we're talking about end behavior or behavior when x approaches infinity or approaches a specific value. So when we look at the notation here, x with the arrow, so I'm going to go through and say what each of these represent. So the first one says x approaches c from the right. So that plus, like an exponent of a plus here, or a superscript, lets you know that, hey, we're approaching this value c from the right side. Okay, so x approaches or approaching c from the right, x approaching c from the left, right? So if it has a negative sign as a superscript, then it's going to be from the left, okay? And then we have x approaches infinity, that's positive infinity, and then x approaches negative infinity. So these are the notations that you're going to want to be familiar with as we move on. So what we're typically saying, hey, as x approaches c from the left, what is f of x doing, right? So we'll have these commas and we'll be telling you, okay, what's going on with f of x, okay? So here, if we take the function 1 over x, okay, and we map it out, so I just sketched the graph of the reciprocal function. And so what happens? Okay, so we have an asymptote, a vertical asymptote at x equal to 0. Okay, so what happens as we approach 0 from the right? Okay, so that would be c, or c value here is 0. So as we approach 0 from the right, what is f of x doing? Well, f of x is approaching positive infinity. Okay, what about if we're approaching 0 from the right, or excuse me, from the left? Well, in that case, f of x approaches what? Negative infinity. So we might say as, right? We might put the word as in front. So as x approaches 0 from the left, or excuse me, from the right, f of x is approaching positive infinity. As x approaches 0 from the left, f of x is approaching negative infinity. As x approaches positive infinity, so now we're going out to positive infinity, f of x is approaching what? The horizontal asymptote of 0. So f of x is approaching 0. As x approaches negative infinity, f of x is also approaching 0. And so that's the way we would say things. So symbolically, this would, instead of writing it out all in words, we could just use symbols to say it a lot more brief, short and concise. All right. Have a great day.